Hey everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to solve the Skewb puzzle. Actually, over the next 5 weeks I'll be teaching you how to solve the Skewb puzzle using my beginner's method and then further on applying some advanced techniques. This is a Skewb. The Skewb is a 4-axis puzzle designed by the Petrus company. Basically, instead of following the normal conventions of turning around a face, the Skewb turns around the corners. Let me show you an example. I'll turn this corner right here, and that's how a turn is made. Now I'll turn it again in the same direction, and another time in the same direction. The Skewb isn't a very difficult puzzle to solve. However, a lot of people find it difficult to solve intuitively, hence why I'm making this tutorial. So let me give you an overview of the method that I'm going to be teaching you. Now the first step is called the Petrus block, in which we form a block that looks like this. In this case, I have it solved on black and red. For the rest of the tutorial, it'll be on black and orange. This block consists of 2 adjacent centers and the respective corners. The next step is called the Weller's mask. Here we'll rotate so that this block is in the top left, and then we'll get the 2 corners of the top layer into place, and then orient them to form a top layer while preserving the left center the entire time. Next, we'll solve the last 3 or 4 remaining centers. In this case, we only have 3. And finally, the last step is the corners of the last layer. And there you go, the Skewb is completely solved. As far as notation goes, notation is relatively simple. For this tutorial, we'll only be turning the bottom layer corners. We'll call this F, call this B, call this R, and this L. An F move would be clockwise and would turn this corner in the front here. So F. An R move would turn this corner clockwise, like this. L would be similar, only with the left side, and B would be in the back. Normally, when we're solving the Skewb, we hold the Skewb more face front, sort of like this, so that the F and R moves that will comprise the majority of our algorithms can be done quickly and efficiently. This video will be primarily geared on just solving the Petrus block. Videos in further weeks will explain how to solve the other parts of the Skewb. But this, as a fundamental step, similar to the cross and the C-flop solve, is rather important to understand from the get-go. Let's get started. Now the first sub-step in solving this consists of looking around for a center paired up with a corner. In this case, we have 2 black stickers next to each other, so our pair is completed. The vast majority of the time on your Skewb, you'll find at least 1 center corner pair. It doesn't have to be with black stickers, it can be with any color stickers. Let it be green, or red, or yellow, or even pink on some cubes. But you want to find one of these, and if you don't have one of these, then it should only take 1 twist to pair up a center with a corner. After finding this, we come to our next sub-step 1B. In 1B, we finish the entire rest of the block, forming a block either to the left with these 2 pieces, or to these 2 pieces on the right to form a block. I only have certain pieces stickered on this cube, therefore we're going to be solving to the left. Now there are 2 ways of forming these last 2 pieces, the first of which is by attaching a center and then a corner, and the second is by attaching the corner and then the center. I'll refer to these as 1B1 and 1B2. First, we'll start with 1B1. So we have a center right here, and we have to attach it over here. So how can we do this without screwing up our already formed pair? Well, in this case, we can turn it like this. There we go. Another example. Now the center is on the back face. How do we get this to the front? Well, we can turn it so that it's on the left side, and then the front side again. What if it's on the bottom? We can just move it to the left side simply. What if it's on the right side? Well, now we can move this to the bottom, and then to the left side. So no matter where this piece is, we're going to be able to put it over here in 2 moves or less every single time. The next step is more difficult. It involves solving the corner that goes here. It may or may not be connected right here to the rest of the block. In this case, it's connected to the block, but it's incorrectly oriented. I'll show you cases in which we orient the corner later. But first, we need to get the corner to this position, similar to in the beginner's method of solving a 3x3, getting a corner above or below right where it needs to go before performing an algorithm. The same principle applies here, so I'll present you with a different example. So if the corner isn't here, it can be in either of 3 different places. Right here, or right here. Our goal is to get it right here. If it's right here, I'll show you some algorithms later which will orient it into place. Now we see that this corner is right here. To get it down here, all we have to do is a B move. There you go. If it's over here, all we have to do is a B prime move. Once this is here, we have to use a 3-move algorithm to insert it into position. This insertion looks like this. R, F, R prime. As you can see, the corner is now in place, but it's incorrectly oriented, just like in the previous example that I was going to tell you about. Here's where those algorithms come into play. First, what we have to do is that we have to see which direction this corner needs to be oriented. In this case, it needs to be oriented clockwise. Therefore, we're going to do the inverse of our 3-move insertion algorithm, then turn the left side to orient it correctly, and use the 3-move insertion to put it back into place correctly. Therefore, we do R, F prime, R prime, orient clockwise with an L move, which is clockwise, and insert back again with R, F, R prime. And now the Petrus block is solved. 1B1 can be done from either direction, left or right, so it's good to practice building a block on either side. Now, since I pretty much outlined everything that could happen with 1B1, let's move on to 1B2. Here is the example we're going to be using for 1B2. It looks like this, with our 2 pieces down here. The first step involves getting the corner to be put into place. Similar to what we did in 1B1, we'll have to get this corner right here first, before it's put up here. In this case, it's already there. So we can move this up with an F move, since we have no center to worry about. And in this case, it's oriented correctly. However, in other cases, it might not be oriented correctly. Let me show you those cases. In this case, to orient this correctly, it needs to be twisted clockwise. Therefore, I'll do an F prime to move it back into position, and then like previously, do an L to orient it clockwise, since an L is a clockwise move, and then do an F to put this corner back into place. We're not worrying about the center right now, it just happens to be solved because it's cool. Similarly, when it needs to be twisted anti-clockwise, you'll do an F prime, L prime, F. Now we need to attach the center into the front right here. The center is currently on the left. Our goal here is to get this center on the back face. Afterward, we'll perform a 4-move algorithm which will get the center from the back to the front. In this case, to get the center to the back face, I'll just turn it like this. Now perform our 4-move algorithm. F prime, R, F, R prime. This algorithm is very important. You'll see this come up a lot in the future. And that's really all there is to it. The most important part about solving Petrus block is to, well, practice it. Additionally, you can experiment around seeing how the pieces interact with each other. This will enrich your understanding of how the puzzle works, and as a result, may yield faster times or more optimal solutions. Please stay tuned for next week's video on how to solve the welder's mask. Thanks for watching. Bye.